Hello, everybody. We're back ranking stuff because I guess that's my life purpose now. Anyway, today it's Tally Hall, and I want to thank two commenters on my Miracle Musical video because they are literally the reason that I started listening to Tally Hall, which is my favorite band. They've surpassed Miracle Musical, they've surpassed anything I've ever listened to. So, thank you to those two commenters who recommended it to me. Anyway, starting off with 13. This is great as an introduction to Ruler of Everything, which we'll harp on later. But 13 by itself would be D tier, but because it's an introduction to Ruler of Everything, it gets passed to C tier. This is probably the only C tier song that makes it on my playlist just because I like it when it comes before Ruler of Everything. We're going next to A Lady, which is our first Good and Evil song. And this, it's unpopular, and I can see why. It's not bad anyway. It's just not my particular taste. Up next we have And. Yep, that's the name of the song. It's just and it's a little hard to say when you're listing songs. And. But anyway, this song it's incredible. I think it's a little overrated, just a little bit, but I still think it deserves a spot at the higher areas of A tier. It's genuinely great. I love the lyrics, and I don't usually pay attention to lyrics, which is odd for a lot of people, but I am not lyrical. I love the lyrics to this song. They're great with the Big Bad Betty of the Apocalypse specifically. That part of the song goes incredible. Next we have Banana Man, which seems to be in my head all of the time. This song is really hard to rank. I can appreciate how this song is funny. It's definitely not my taste melodically, but it's still a good song. It's Tally Hall. I'm gonna throw this. There should be a Banana Man tier. I'm not gonna make one, but I'll throw this in B tier. Up next is Be Born, and I have to agree with the common consensus here. I don't like country. I don't know why I said that in a southern accent, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, next we got Cannibal. This was one of the songs that actually introduced me to both Good and Evil and Tally Hall in itself. It appeared as a random song that played during one of my playlists, and at first I was mad before realizing, hey, this song isn't bad, and I actually like it. It used to be that I thought Tally Hall couldn't compare to Miracle Musical until I listened to Cannibal. And one song really teetered that, but Cannibal was a big help, and I feel obligated to put it in S tier. It's also just an incredible song, and I can also understand the themes of this song, even though my peanut brain usually can't get those. And yeah, the theme of this song is really well calibrated and understandable. It's genuinely an incredible song. Next we got Dream, and I like the bonus tracks, guys. I like one of the bonus tracks. Not this one. It's the worst song Tally Hall's made. I'm sorry. Picking right back up from Dream, we have what I believe is the longest song in Tally Hall at around 6 minutes and 30 seconds, which is Fate of the Stars, and this deserves to be as long as it is. I think it's going in S tier. I do love that random interlude in the middle where it goes into instrumentals and reaches that one part that for some reason really reminds me of the Halloween songs from Prodigy, if any of you remember that. But yeah, Fate of the Stars is actually incredible. I love the vocals. I believe this one was actually written by Andrew, which is incredible. He doesn't write that many songs, but I can appreciate Fate of the Stars to its fullest. I believe this was the final goodbye to Tally Hall. This was their last song on Good and Evil. Yeah, this basically ended their official band. And it's a great ending to Good and Evil, which is definitely not my favorite album. I think Marvelin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum is better than Good and Evil. This is a really, really big standout, and I actually think it's going ahead of Cannibal. Okay, up next we've got Good Day, and I think this song is a little overshadowed by a different one that we'll get to later, but it's still a relatively good introduction to Tally Hall. It's definitely lower on my list, but I can definitely appreciate it, and it definitely goes into my playlist. I'll never skip it, but I think this is going to be higher than Banana Man. And I'll throw it in A tier. And another song that introduced me to Tally Hall is Greener. This song gives off vibes of like early 2000s music that teenagers used to listen to, and that's definitely not my taste, but they somehow made it in a way that even I could enjoy that, even though that type of music isn't what I usually listen to. And that's an effect that Tally Hall has a lot. It really introduces you to new genres and new ideas, and I honestly think that's one of the reasons why the band is great. Greener is a good example of that principle. I think Greener goes ahead of... I'll put it after And. Up next we've got Haiku, and I can't say I love this one. This Haiku is just... it's okay. You know, it's a C tier song. I'll put it after 13. Haiku... the thing about it is that it's a lot more raw. It doesn't have a lot of instrumentals, which, as I mentioned before, I am really, really appreciative of instrumentals, and that's what makes me love a song, most of the time, but I can still recognize that Haiku is a good song. Then, you've probably heard this song. This song's used in background music for a lot of videos, and yeah, it's a great song. However, I think it's overrated and overused. I don't hate the song, but there are so many songs that are better than Hidden in the Sand, and of course it's good. It's just overrated. I'm putting it ahead of Banana Man. Hymn for a Scarecrow. This song, I'm not gonna lie, it overstays its welcome a bit. If this song was shorter, then I would probably listen to it a lot more. And I know it's a lot of people's favorite Tally Hall song, but for me, it just doesn't hit the spot like that. I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. Just Apathy. This song, it's so good, and so many people underrate it, and I'm very confused. Like, who doesn't like this song? I really love the use of instrumentals in this song, and the fact that it's short, I think, handicaps it a bit, but I still really, really love it. And I think it even goes as far as being in my top 6. It might be 6, I don't know. We'll see. Misery Fell. Another very popular song that I'm not ultra attached to. It's a good song, and I appreciate the meaning of it, but I think it's gonna go a lot lower. And I know this is a lot of people's favorite song, and this is probably my most controversial opinion. Yeah, Misery Fell is, for me, just not very good. That brings us to the most important song in all of the Tally Hall universe, Mucka Blucka. Every time this song comes on, I feel a rainbow of emotions, all intertwining with themselves in a beautiful way. Every time I listen to Mucka Blucka, I cry, I laugh, I destroy something. The only flaw this song has is that it doesn't last forever. The fact that this is the only song sung by Ross S. Fetterman is so disappointing because it shows off his undeniably beautiful talent. Ross isn't just a drummer. He isn't. He is the best singer of the best song ever. Ever, you hear me? Tally Hall needs to make more things like this. Nothing here will compare to Mucka Blucka. And that is why I am adding Heaven Mucka Blucka tier. This rarely happens in songs. This is the best song in all of Tally Hall. Never Meant to Know is probably the perfect introduction to Good and Evil. It's a great song, and I really like the utilization of what sounds like a slot machine sound effect, although I feel like that would belong better on Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum based on the overall theme. However, I still think it's the perfect introduction to Good and Evil because it's a great song, as I mentioned, and I think it kind of represents Tally Hall in a bit, just like the overall, average for all their songs. Anyway, I think it sort of also kind of represents A tier. I think it's the best in A tier. And now we've got Out in the Twilight, which I can't say I really love this song. I think songs like these are sort of weighing down a bit on Good and Evil, and it's sort of overshadowing a lot of masterpieces that came out of that album. However, I in no way, once again, think it's bad. I think just by Tally Hall's standard, which is super high, this is a C tier. And now, we've got another very famous song, Ruler of Everything. Chances are you've probably heard this song in some way or another. You just didn't know it was from Tally Hall, and you probably won't be able to recognize it once you hear it again. However, I've talked to a lot of people, and once I tell them Ruler of Everything is from Tally Hall, they are quite surprised because they've heard it before. They just didn't know it was from Tally Hall. It feels like Tally Hall should be way more popular than it is, based on the media coverage that they've had. But that being said, Ruler of Everything, there's a reason why it's famous. And it's not the same as Hidden in the Sand, in which I think it's overrated. I think it's perfect. However, 2 songs are ahead of it that we'll get to later, making it the 3rd best song on the album, not counting Mucka Blucka, which my speech was a joke. You guys all could tell that, right? Mucka Blucka is a chicken song, okay? And now we have what I call the jolly good song, Sacred Beast. I think this really stands out for the fact that, it's not mentioned much at all, which is really a shame because this song is actually so good. I love the use of the instruments, the vocals, everything. It's actually just so great, and people don't talk about it enough. And that's why I'm putting it before Cannibal. And now, this is my favorite song, Spring and a Storm. Everything in this song, from the lyrics to the vocals to the melodies, is genuinely amazing. And although it takes time for me to figure out the meaning of this song, I think it boils down to hopelessness and the feeling that you want to just quit and have all your problems erased, which Rain sort of represents. And I think this song is criminally underrated. I know people love it, they just don't love it enough. Spring and a Storm is my favorite song. It's past Dream Suite in C major. It's past any other song that I've actually heard. And that'll probably soon change. However, I will always appreciate and enjoy this song. And back to back, my second favorite song, which almost ties with Spring and a Storm. When Joe comes in with that megaphone in possibly the final chorus of Taken for a Ride, it is genuinely astonishing. And when I finally noticed that part when I was listening to it, I nearly cried. It's so amazing, and just for that one part, it deserves S tier, but the rest of the song is also incredible. I think Taken for a Ride nearly beats Spring and the Storm. Just almost. Now we're coming off that with The Bidding, which is probably a song you've heard before. A lot of Tally Hall songs are popular, unbeknownst to the listener, that they're made by Tally Hall. However, this song doesn't exactly pertain to my tastes exactly. However, I can still very much appreciate it, and I think it still goes in A tier after Greener. The Trap is probably the best thing to come out of Good and Evil, which is saying something because Good and Evil produced a lot of masterpieces in that album. However, as I said, I think Good and Evil is often overshadowed by Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, which causes it to be discredited when it's mentioned, and I think it doesn't deserve that based on how good some of these songs are. I think The Trap sort of represents the potential that they had for the future. However, they disbanded and it was over. Andrew Horowitz probably has the most distinct voice in all of the band, and it really sucks that he's underutilized. However, you can especially tell that it's him singing in The Whole World in You. This song actually helped introduce me to Tally Hall, except it really took Spring in a Storm to get me to fall in love with the band. However, I can appreciate this song because it was the first Tally Hall song I heard and really liked. So, The Whole World and You earns its spot in B tier. Side note that I forgot to mention, they actually keep the misspelling of the word stories as Sautries in, which I thought was very interesting, and it's just a cool fact about the band. I don't have much to say for Turn the Lights Off. It's genuinely just a good song. I like the melody, I like the lyrics, I like the music video. Rare music video, by the way. I just like Turn the Lights Off. To Love is great, except the fact that the lyrics are so creepy, so it makes it hard to enjoy. Why does this song have to sound so good? Like, I listen to it and I'm like, wow, this sounds great. And then I'll listen to the lyrics and I'm like, ugh. Why? I just wanted this to have normal lyrics so I could enjoy it like a normal person. This would be S tier if it weren't for those freaking lyrics. Why both the Olsen twins? A tier. Welcome to Tally Hall is the perfect introduction to Tally Hall. Wait, this isn't the introduction to Tally Hall. This is the third song on the album. They even performed it on the Late Late Show as their, opening song. Why isn't this the first song? Anyway, this song is still perfect. It just encapsulates Tally Hall, and I absolutely love it personally. This is going after Ruler of Everything. Who You Are is genuinely so good. It's one of the rare songs where I can appreciate the lyrics and the melody at the same time. For example, I really like the lyric, maybe it's too much thinking and not enough heart. And why is it so underrated? It makes me mad seeing how much criticism this song gets, even though it's just a normal song in Good and Evil. Just like Ross is just a drummer. And just the basic fact that natural ketchup is amazing. So, Who You Are goes in S tier and it deserves it. I feel like nobody talks about You and Me enough. First of all, Tally Hall loves the word you for their titles. You and Me. You. Who You Are. Why? The Whole World and You. Anyway, You and Me isn't talked about enough. I really like the lyrics. I really like the instrumental. I think it's a perfect A tier song. I don't think it stands out that much, but it's really good. I don't know why people don't talk about it. You is another song I believe is sung by Andrew and his very distinctive voice, but it doesn't stand out to me that much. I think it's the best of C tier. I don't know. I feel like they don't go heavy enough on the instrumentals for this one, and that's just my complaint here. That's not a criticism for them. And I'm not doing Just a Friend because I don't feel like it. Goodbye.